Morning, everybody. It's Julie and Michelle here on a beautiful Saturday morning here in Pennsylvania, where I am. Michelle, what's it like in New York? Nice?
I think nice. Joe says it's nice out. I haven't seen the out of doors yet today.
Michelle has been literally wedded to her computer for the last 4 days, creating amazing content for Mayday and other stuff. And so just understand that all of the great things that you guys see like when we show you these videos and all these other great things that we see, that's because Michelle has not slept in days. Michelle's like,
It's true. And I'm not complaining. It's great. It's just once you get into like this kind of hole where you start doing it and you're like, no, but I can do more. And then you just all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I haven't gone outside.
Yeah,
I
remember
haven't
that
gone
scene?
outside since I voted. Like, you know
Remember
what I
that
mean?
scene, remember that scene in Homeland where Carrie has like all the stuff on the walls and she's like connecting all the dots?
I understand that.
That's
I
gonna be
understand that in
Michelle's.
ways. And I also, so this is funny. So my friend Rob and I have very similar levels of anxiety, like about hypochondria and worrying if like we've left the oven on or a curling iron or something like
Right.
this. And so my phone is full of like pictures of outlets making, proving to myself. So later, if I start to question myself, I have a photo of my thing being unplugged, or I'll unplug it, or I'll yell out, I blew out the candle so that I remember that I did it.
Okay, right.
This is the level of just anxiety, craziness that goes on in my little brain, my little creative brain.
I have
And
that too. So you go ahead. Sorry.
no. So he found this creator on TikTok who makes these videos. Maybe you won't relate to this, but when I watched these, I laughed so hard.
Why? What are
Well,
they?
the first one I'm going to play is about hypochondria.
Okay, go ahead.
Could I be having a heart attack? Causes of left arm pain. Can you have a heart attack and not even feel it? What to do if you think you're having a heart attack? Can you randomly develop allergies? I ate something and now my throat is itchy. Am I allergic to it? Should I go to the hospital for an itchy throat? What are the symptoms of anaphylactic shock? How to know if you're having trouble swallowing? How to know if you're having trouble breathing? Do I need to go to the hospital? Can you die from eating too many grapes? How many grapes is too many grapes to eat at one time? Can grapes be bad for you? Is there a recall on grapes? When was the last time grapes were recalled in the United States? How many people die from earthquakes each year? I have lower stomach pain. Should I go to the hospital?
All right. So I cannot relate because I have the opposite problem. My problem is I'm very fatalistic. Like I remember flying from London I remember this to this day, 1995. I was 20, I don't even know, 3 or something. I was flying back. No, I was 22. I was flying back and all of a sudden the plane like whoop, dropped like crazy. Like I've never had anything like it. People literally started screaming. And I never really wear makeup, as you can see, but I used to in the 90s. There was this, who made it? Like L'Oreal or somebody, this stick, this lipstick stick, but it was literally like a stick. And it had this very, very 90s, like dark red color.
Yeah.
And I put it on and I was like, okay, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna put on lipstick. Like I had like I wasn't screaming. I wasn't like panicking. I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. I had the whole like, okay, I guess it's my time. So I have actually the opposite disease, Michelle, which is I have the disease of being like, if I gotta go, I gotta go, which is also not healthy.
Well,
It doesn't value my life the way it should, I think.
I don't know where I get it from. I know my grandfather was a bit of a hypochondriac. I've read in my family diaries that like I have another great grandma who was at the doctor all the time, like all the time. I feel like my dad has a fair amount of it. But I think also like growing up in a family of like first responders, there's like hyper awareness and hyper vigilance. And I think it just kind of creeps in because I'm going to show you the next one. So I just want you to understand this. Okay. So my dad was a firefighter for 33 and a half years.
Right.
I have to say the half because he gets mad if I leave out the half.
Okay.
My grandfather was a firefighter for around that time. My great grandfather was a firefighter for 39 years. Okay. So fire safety, huge part of my childhood. I had to
Right.
watch the videos. We did fire drills. Okay. Fear that I'm going to leave things on. Here's another one.
Stove might be on. Did you make sure your doors were locked? All of them? You may have left your curling iron plugged in. There could be an earthquake. It could fall onto the floor, probably catch your floor on fire, and then your whole house. That's your fault. Did you unplug that power strip? What if the power goes out and then comes back on, and then it creates a spark that sets your whole house on fire? That's your fault. The stove is off, but the gas might still be leaking. You left that toaster plugged in right next to the stove. An electrical surge could cause a spark from that outlet. Then your whole house will explode. That's your fault.
I've never felt so seen in my entire life.
Hilarious.
Her
And
name
I
is Erica Farnsworth. Go find her. She's very funny.
And I look at that and I'm like, okay, if my house explodes, as long as nobody I love is in it.
Well, that's the
Okay.
thing. I mean,
Like
yeah.
I'm so fatalist. I have the opposite problem. Like I'm so
Oh, no.
fatalistic that it's not healthy either. So I think we're like opposite extremes of each
If
other.
we could make a person in between us
That
that
would be the perfect
has
person.
a healthy amount of
That would be the perfect
be a
person.
very good way to live.
The only thing I really care about are like my people. Like other than that, I don't, I think like I don't care. I had a radar detector in my car when I was like in high school. Remember those? Like back in the day? That might have been before your time. Anyway, you used to have,
Like for cops and stuff?
yeah, you have
Yeah.
a radar detector to make sure that like if a cop
Yeah.
was running a radar, you'd know about it. And I had this radar detector and I was living in New Jersey and my mom and I came into New York to do something. And I drove my little Honda into the city and I parked it right by South Street Seaport. I remember this so well. I'm not sure what the hell I don't know why we were down there. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And this was like the 90s. Things were not great in the city. And we come back and my locks are popped and the radar detector's gone. Which by the way, back then in New York, like your car radio would be ripped out. Like it was a much worse time than it is now. Even though Rudy Giuliani was mayor and pretended that it wasn't. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is pre-Rudy. This is like a 91.
Oh.
I'm sorry. This is really the bad old days. Yeah. Sorry. So so I remember just looking at that radar detector, which I loved, and I saved up all my money for it. And I remember working at like I forgot where I was working, like Petite Sophisticate or something, some stupid
Oh
store.
God, I remember that
That
store.
And I remember
Because
saving up.
people like us shop there. Small
Well,
people.
you think it was people like us who shop there, but it was people who were not particularly petite in size, just very short in stature.
Oh, I see.
And they thought they could shop there and they couldn't. And as the sales
Oh,
had to be like, I don't think we have anything in your size. They get really pissed off because they're like,
yeah, that's rough.
it
That's
was
rough.
not a good experience. Anyway, so I nevertheless worked at the store and I saved up and I bought a radar detector because I really wanted one. And because nothing was worse than getting a ticket when you were like first driving. Like it was just devastating. I don't know why, but it was like just couldn't get a
Oh
ticket.
God, it's like getting your name on the board, but like in real life.
Yeah, like I remember like I got a ticket because I obviously continue to be a not great driver, even though I think I am. And I started crying. I was like, I can't get a ticket. The cop is like, what is the big deal? You got a ticket for speeding. I'm like,
You don't understand. You don't understand.
Anyway, so and it wasn't that I was going to get in trouble with my parents. I mean, that was like that goes without saying, but it wasn't about that. It was like the ignominy of getting a ticket at 17. But anyway, so I had this, and they popped out my locks, and they took my radar detector, and my only thought was like, okay, maybe they need it more than I do.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
You and I are very different.
We're very different. I know. I just think like I have this. My mom.
I would seek vengeance for the rest of my life.
Oh, my mom has this like attitude that I think I also have, which is like, and I grew up really poor, so I'm not suggesting I come to this from like a position of
right
at all. But it was like
that also might be why.
Maybe why my attitude was like, okay, it's just stuff. Like at the end of the day, I feel like I could live without stuff.
Sure, of course.
So if my house burns down, like it's gonna suck. But I've lived in situations before where I didn't have a house. Like we literally were homeless when we came.
Yeah.
So like not homeless, but I mean like we didn't have a place to live. So like I
didn't have a place to go. Yeah.
I think my attitude is like, I think I'll survive without stuff. So I have the opposite problem that you have.
Mhm.
And you're right. If we combine the two of us, that would be a mentally healthy person.
Well, the thing is too, it's like, okay, I have vivid memories as a kid watching these fire safety videos. And do you remember the show Rescue 911 with William Shatner? Okay. That
I
show
never watched it, but I remember it.
traumatized me, but I couldn't miss an episode. I watched it, and I actually talked to people my age who were in my age group because I was probably like 6 or 7 when I was watching Rescue 911. And you'd watch these stories with like the scary music about how the house fire started, or there was a gas leak and it exploded, and like everyone was burned, and these children were burned forever. And it was, these are these things stay with you. And I was actually asking my husband about this like last week. I'm like, did you watch that? He goes, yeah. He goes, I was more scared by Unsolved Mysteries. He's like, that was terrifying. I was like, oh no, that came on after Rescue 911. And that was like, once I heard that guy's voice, I was like, I turned it off because it was too scary. Too scary.
So, it's so funny what like our parents do to traumatize us. Because my father,
I'm going to start getting text messages from my parents.
yeah. So my father, who I hope is not watching this morning, but if he is, I'm going to get a call. But this is all true. He's just going to be upset because my father has this attitude of being like, I don't understand why you like think this is all bad. And we actually had this conversation yesterday. So listen, this is so funny that we're having this discussion now. So we're driving out to Pennsylvania, my son and I, and we call my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And my father gets on the phone and he goes to my son, Zach, the next time you're here, there's a movie out about, so my son is 13.
Mm-hmm.
There's a movie out about Nuremberg. And
yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Right, because you're an adult. My father goes, there's a movie out about Nuremberg.
With the psychiatrist who like,
you know what Nuremberg was? And my son goes, yeah, doesn't that something to do with Nazis? Yes, Zach, it had everything to do with Nazis. After the Nazis were captured, they didn't capture Hitler and they didn't capture Goebbels, but they captured, do you know who Hermann Goering was? And my son's like, I guess. So he's like, we got to watch this movie and it's all about the Holocaust and them putting them on trial for crimes against humanity. And I said to my dad, I go, Dad, I don't know that this is appropriate for my son is really impressionable.
Well,
really,
he's very
my
sweet.
son, you know, my son, like he takes things to heart very much. And I said, I don't know that this is appropriate. He's like, you watch this stuff when you were little. I said, Dad, you started telling me about I'm not kidding. When I was 7 years old, my father sat me down. I remember this so well. We're living in the Bronx and we're walking around this pocket park in the Bronx. And I'll those things that you never forget. My father sat me down on a bench and he goes, listen, there are these weapons that can kill you instantaneously called nuclear weapons.
Oh, and this was the 80s probably too, right?
This was 1981. This is 1980, 1981. And if they don't kill you instantaneously, you will die from radiation.
The wish that you had been.
You will get cancer and you will die. And I was like, I was literally 7 years old.
I mean, that's the age from the Soviet Union, though. Like, and
no, we were here.
No, I know, but like having come from there and moved to America,
of course,
the tensions were like really high.
My father goes, I know what I'm talking about because when I was in the Soviet army, he was drafted. He had served. I served up in the North by the North Pole, and I guarded those nukes, and they were pointing at the United States. We never knew where the United States they were pointing, but they were pointing at the United States. This is in the 60s that he did this. I think during the Cuban Missile Crisis, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I'm telling you, like, if you don't die instantaneously, you will die from cancer. And I didn't believe him. I was like, you can't die from cancer from a moment. He's like, oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And then he starts telling me, he made me read this book he read it out loud to me, actually. This book when I was 7 or 8 about Eichmann and the capture of Eichmann, who was the person responsible for the Holocaust, which of course goes. So I'm not kidding you guys, from the age, talking about anxiety, from the age of 12 on, I don't know if anybody's ever had these recurring dreams that just are consistently recurring. From the age of 12 on, I don't know why I began at 12. Maybe I hit puberty then.
Yeah, and then your brain rewired.
I had this dream that I was on a train to Auschwitz.
Oh, you've told me this.
And then, like the tower, it's actually broken out.
Yep.
We go through those gates where that tower is. And it's a black and white, and I'm on this train and I know what's coming, but I can't stop it. And then I wake up. And I had this dream consistently. for years. And finally, when I was in my 30s, I was watching the show about Auschwitz on PBS, and it was basically saying that Auschwitz was going to collapse because it wasn't designed to stay.
Right.
It wasn't really designed for permanent.
Yeah, it was right.
It was going to serve a purpose. So the Nazis never built it to like last, millions of years. They were going to kill the Jews, and then it was
right. And they're like, oh, now we're done.
Yeah, like the job was done, right? It was, and there was a debate in Poland as to whether they should just let nature take its course and let this awful place collapse, or whether they should actually invest money in preserving the crematoria and preserving these bunker. I mean, like it's a really morally kind of it's a big dilemma, right?
Yeah.
So I remember thinking to myself, I was like, holy shit, I have got to get to Auschwitz before this thing collapses. And I had this imperative because of this dream that I had to get.
What year was this?
I would say this is like 2009.
Okay, so like not terribly long ago.
Not terribly long, like 15 years ago, 16 years ago. And I was like, I have to get to Auschwitz before this collapses. I have to see this in real life. Maybe I'll stop having this dream if I actually see it in real life. So I'm like, okay, but who do I go to Auschwitz with? Like, you can't just call a friend and be like, hey, you want to go to Auschwitz with me? Didn't want to go with my mom because that's a little too much, too traumatic. So I called my friend Bill Baroni, who was actually on with us.
Yeah. He was on election day with us. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, so Bill was smart. And at the time, and Bill's one of my best friends. I love Bill. And at the time, Bill was a state senator in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically, I was like, hey, Bill, you want to go to Auschwitz? He's like, I'm in. I'm like, really? That was a little too like fast. So he goes, I'll take care of everything. Just
wow. So that's who you went with. Okay.
I went with Bill.
Okay.
And Bill's like, how do we get there? I said, I think we have to fly into Krakow, and then you have to get to Auschwitz. It's not far from Krakow.
Yeah.
And Bill's like, okay, well, can we take a train? I go, Bill, I am not taking a train to Auschwitz. I'm like, I am a Jew. Like the one way I'm not getting to Auschwitz is on a train.
I know.
like, do not put me on a train to Auschwitz. It's not happening. So he goes, okay, I'll take care of everything. I've got all this I got all these like Jewish Federation connections. I'll take care of everything. So I'm like, okay. So we get to Krakow. I don't even know why I'm telling the story, but
no, I mean it's a good story. You should.
So so we get to Krakow, and it's winter, and it's really dreary. And Krakow, I think, is a beautiful city, but I was really uneasy there. And then we go out to dinner, and my mom calls, and I start speaking. The people were so nice. They loved Americans, loved Americans. We're sitting in this restaurant. They're serving us borscht. They could not be nicer. And then my mom calls, and I start speaking Russian to her, and it was like, what? Record scratch. Like, I was like, oh my God. So I was like, I gotta go. And I was like, click. I mean, they hate, understandably so, they hate the Russian.
Yeah.
So I stowed my Russian speaking there and told my mom never to call me when I was there. But anyway, so the following morning, we're at this hotel. Like, it was like the Hilton or the Hyatt. It was like the only Western chain in Krakow. And Bill's like, I was just told I have to be downstairs at 9 a.m. They're going to take us to Auschwitz. I go, okay. Right. So we go downstairs, and there's a woman there named Barbara, who I still remember, the best tour guide on the face of this earth. I don't know if she's still.
To be able to give a tour of a place like that, you have to, on so many layers, you have to be so knowledgeable, and you also have to be like very deeply empathetic to the people who are there, because you might have, family descendants, things like that. But I that's not surprising. Yeah.
Right. So it was late February or early March. So it was there, obviously Eastern Europe, still deeply cold.
So cold, right?
Very, very gray. It looked very much like that.
The sun hasn't shined in quite some time. Right.
Yeah. But it also looked very gray and looked almost like you'd imagine
the pictures.
Right. And we get outside, and Barbara ushers us to this car, and it's an armored Mercedes. And I said, Bill, the other way I didn't think I was going to get to Auschwitz was like a fucking German commandant in the back of an armored Mercedes. Right. Because what I realized is they thought he was a United States senator. He was just a state senator, but they thought he was a United States senator. So they were giving us incredible, like they legitimately thought this like Ted Kennedy showed up. Like, it was great. Like it was. I mean, it was actually very nice, but whatever.
Yeah.
He kept saying Senator Baroni. And I'm like, oh my God, they think he's like he was a real state senator. But I was
he is a senator.
He is a senator, but he just wasn't that kind of senator. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We get to Auschwitz, and which is awful. We get to Birkenau, which is worse than any dream or any place. I don't know why we're talking about this on a Saturday morning. I promise we'll change the subject in a second. It's just to simply say, our parents traumatizing us. And it was exactly as I pictured it in my dream. Exactly, Michelle. Like, I don't know if I lived a previous life there or something. I could have told you where every single thing was. And I don't know if it's because my father made me watch all these documentaries when I was really, really little, when I should not
Yeah.
be watching them, or what was going on. But if I closed my eyes, I could have picked out where, I mean, it was just as I dreamed it, which I don't know, I'm not one of those like woo woo previous life
Me
people.
neither, but sometimes things happen like that,
It's
and you're like,
happening. You're like, what is going on? So
right.
the crematoria is on the other side of where that big like gate is. And, she said, she goes, the car will meet us in the back, by I guess there's another entrance by where the crematoria is. And I said, no, actually, I need to walk out of these gates by myself. And she's like, why? Like, it's cold, it's dank, it's dark. Like, we'll just,
Yeah.
I said, no, I have to just
Let me do it. Yeah.
let me just do it by myself. And I said, I have to walk out of these gates because in my dream, I was never able to do it. And I did. And I have never had that dream since.
That's
Crazy. But talk about your parents completely messing you up.
right.
And showing you stuff when you're little that makes you totally anxious. So my anxiety, stuff like that. Your anxiety is obviously you leaving curling iron on. I wonder if one day, if you did leave it on and nothing happened, you could actually get past it.
No, because that's happened. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you still haven't gotten past it.
And I have a curling iron that has like a 30-minute thing. Like if you don't touch it, it turns off. But my mom actually just texted me and reminded me that 10 years ago in 2015, we were all going to a wedding, my cousin's wedding, which was about half hour away.
Yeah.
And we sat down and I was like, did I turn the curling iron off? And my dad was like, and they had just built their new house. And he's like, I'm not doing this. And so my dad got in the car, drove all the way back to the house. It was unplugged, but then he came back and it was fine. But it's funny. I like to just back on the thing of like, we're not into woo-woo stuff.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do wonder if there's this other something or other that can be scientifically explained, or physics or something like that, because the kids, the thing about the kids and the past lives.
No.
You know about this? Oh, girl. OMG. This would be probably one of the most fascinating conversations if we could get this guy from the University of Virginia on one of our shows to talk about this. There is a phenomenon of children, I'm talking like 2 years old, all of a sudden, like getting up in their cribs or talking to their parents about like, oh, that's my plane. That's my plane. And they're like, what do you mean that's your plane? And they're like, no, I flew that. And starts telling these like very detailed stories about flying planes in World War II, or like, that's my name. And that was my friend, whatever. There's another guy, there's this other child who kept talking about living in Beverly Hills and all of his friends. And he started talking about clubs and bars and the movie stars, and they go and find, and he's like, what's your name? What's your name? And they go and find out that this kid said that he was an agent, like a movie star agent in like the 30s. And apparently he had died tragically in like a car accident or something. And so these kids, and it's a phenomenon. Like there's one kid who 9/11 stuff, like, and then I guess by the time they're about 4 or 5, like they fade away, and then it just goes away for some people. And this PhD doctor person at UVA like studies this with the families all over the world. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And I'm like, no. And I'm sure, listen, I'm sure there's a handful of parents who, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they feed this shit to their kids because parents are insane, but some of them aren't. And I'm like, where is this coming from? And so I think about you in the story about the dream.
I'm telling you,
I'm like walking out of there and I'm like,
But again, I can't tell if I just saw, listen, my parents showed me Sophie's Choice, like when it was out in the movie theater. Like I was.
But that's also like part
really
of
young. So I can't tell if it's just that I saw so many movies that, I mean, it's not, by the way, Birkenau is not a big place.
Yeah.
So if you want to recreate it on a movie set, it is not hard to recreate. And so for me, I can't tell whether it's like this woo stuff of like, oh my God, I was there, which would be creepy, or whether I just saw so many movies and documentaries as a kid that it kind of just stuck in my head. Because again, speaking of parents, like my parents are my father's not my mom, but my father always had a little adult that he was raising. He wasn't like a child. So he would just talk to me
Right.
about stuff. And he's trying to do the same thing with my son. And I was like, we just stow the Herman Goering stuff, like whatever. He's like, oh, he's got to know. He's got to know. And I was like, okay, he's going to know.
But that's part of being Jewish, though. I mean, I feel like the majority of my Jewish friends, especially the ones who descend from survivors, like my friend Anna, who we talked to,
Yeah.
she's she's 3G, right? So,
Right.
and
As
she
opposed to South Africa, which should not be any G.
shouldn't even be a G.
Shouldn't even be a G. Okay, go ahead.
My favorite. She, she said from a very young age, her mom, because they have like this little cabin house that all the cousins and stuff share in up in the Catskills.
Right.
And her mom would, like, as a child, like, be like, do you remember where the house is? Tell me where the address is. Where, and something happens, you know where to go, right? You go there. And like, because that's always been just part of, when you have both of her grandparents on her mom's side and her great grandmother all survived Auschwitz. They all survived.
Yeah,
I mean, they walking miles and miles and miles in the snow,
yeah,
like
unfortunate.
yeah. And she tells the story about how her grandmother, they did different things to see if like you were useful and stuff. And like her grandfather was a hair, hair person. So he did all the hair of all the wives and the girlfriends of the Nazis and stuff. And like that kept him alive. And the grandmother, like she cooked and stuff like that. And like they would make her run through whips and stuff to see if she could withstand without falling over. And she would. And so like, okay, you're crazy. So, I don't know. So the past lives thing, definitely Google it. Definitive. Okay, hold on. Miss Banks is writing here. The definitive study is the book Michelle referenced. U of A professor, 20 cases suggestive of reincarnation.
All right, we got to get this guy on because I'm not a huge.
I'm
not a huge believer in this stuff, but I will tell you, my mom always says she always jokes that I'm like a little witch because I have these like premonitions that always come to pass.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is. And again, I'm so
That's
not.
what I'm saying. There could be this other scientific. Our brains are crazy. The world, there's only so much that we know. We're always learning new stuff about the universe and things. And I'm not religious at all. And I don't think that there's some being that controls all this stuff. That is my belief system. But there is some stuff that is just so. There was Morgan Freeman did this show for a while called Through the Wormhole, and it was about science and religion. And it was like, there's a thing called the God helmet and like what our brains do when we're thinking we think we're in certain situations and blah, blah, blah. And it's all the scientific explanations for all these amazing things that happen, right? Science. Here's the explanation. But on the other side of that science is magic. And that's a lot to take in. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there's science, but what causes the science? And then you can really sit on that all day. And I do. Yeah. If you haven't noticed the level of anxiety and things that go through my head on a daily basis, I do think about these things probably too much. Like my husband puts his head to his pillow.
Oh,
2 seconds out. And I'm sitting there for like an hour being like,
I wonder if that's a guy thing. By the way, men in this chat, I'd love to know that because my husband does the same. And I'm sitting there being like, I'm staring at the ceiling thinking of like every awful thing that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Or working till like, you and I, especially now that we're doing this morning show, we are working till late to put together the show. Mm-hmm. And the way that works, you guys, just so you know, is I write the script and Michelle does all the assets, the beautiful assets that you see. So that takes a while. And so sometimes it's 11 or midnight until we do that. My husband turns the lights off at 9:30 at night and he's asleep by 9:30 and 30 seconds.
I'm seeing a lot of
9:31. Yeah.
Same with my husband. Nope. Man here, anxiety often in the night, or I wake up at 5 a.m. thinking about updating my resume.
So I can't go to sleep anymore unless I've always had this thing where I have to read. And my problem is I start doom scrolling or I start reading New York Times. And that's not what I need to read. I need to read like fiction. So somebody here said Anne of 1,000 Days is a great movie. I am reading a great fiction book right now about Anne Boleyn and actually not Anne Boleyn, Jane Boleyn, her sister-in-law, and it's really good. And it's by the same author that wrote the other Boleyn girl. Actually, it's a new book.
Okay.
It's Philippa Gregory. But like, I have to read about stuff like that, things that have nothing to do with my life, things that happened like 500 years ago, or I have to read about the current British royal family because it's just good tea, and they don't even.
Oh,
see,
it's delish.
they don't even
Like,
see,
I
they don't
know
even see
my
real
gosh,
tea, which is probably not fair to them.
you know
But
what would
like,
happen? Well, whatever. At this point, you know, that would be another good person to have on our show is the guy with the Substack. Do you know what I'm talking about? The guy you told me about him.
yes,
Who writes about the British royal family?
yes,
Like
yes,
all
yes.
the tea? I think
Yeah, I
he
think we
would
should
be
have
really
him on the show.
interesting. Because, like, you know, again, I just need it. I need something. I don't read Us Weekly anymore. I don't read any of that stuff because I'm like, no, I'm above this. But I'm like, sometimes I'm like, am I? I don't know.
I have some good Meghan Markle tea from people who worked with her back in the day, but I'll save it. But I'll save it
Yeah.
for when we have him on. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because because I know what you're talking about and I feel bad about it because I've been like her biggest defender for a long, 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 long time.
Girl.
And you told me that and I was like, God damn it. And then
Yeah.
I saw she did an interview with Bloomberg a few weeks ago and it was asked about like the state of the world because, you know, she used to be very
Uh-huh.
vocal.
And she's like, no.
And she's like, well, I just hope that everyone's having a good time and is
She's
just
worried that her husband's going to get deported for like the acid that he dropped or the pot that he smoked or whatever the hell he did back in Courtney Cox's house that he wrote about in his book.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
feel bad for him. I think he's like,
Oh, I think so too. I think Harry's a good egg for sure.
he's a good egg.
Okay. Well, listen, we come on this thing. So a couple people asked about Tara. Tara is in Spain. She is traveling. But we have talked about, a few times here before that just with schedules and like different priorities, especially as we go into 2026, like it's going to be more sporadic about who can come, who can't. Like, the future of Over It definitely will be something. We will always be here on Saturdays. We love this community.
Yeah.
Yes, Tara is living her best life. I think she's going to a Jamiroquai concert this weekend, which is like her favorite band. So
Barcelona, right? Or in Portugal?
Barcelona, yeah. And then she's going to be in Lisbon, or she went to Lisbon first
Yeah.
or something else. But yeah, no, she's having a fantastic time. But yeah, I mean, like, and Joe's got her thing. She's doing the soccer mom thing and she's building the Siren. And I'm sure you guys, if you follow her, like she's just like insanely busy and like kicking ass. And so, it's just, we all want to do all the things and we can't always do all the things. But we can promise that Julie and I will always be here because Mayday is, Mayday is going to be our thing. And this is what we're going to do.
We'll have some special guests too.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have that guy from, is it UVA or where in Virginia?
UVA. Yeah, that's the thing too. I'm like UVA though. I mean, like that's
legit.
That's legit.
Oh, Charles Austin, you said spy novels are my favorite nonfiction. Le Carre, Daniel Silva. I am obsessed with Daniel Silva. So Jamie Gangel, who is Daniel Silva's wife. I don't know that people know this. So Daniel Silva, do you know Daniel Silva, Michelle? Know this?
I don't know. I don't read fiction.
Oh, okay. Well, you got to talk about managing anxiety.
Piles of books about Russian spies that are real.
No, you got to read Daniel Silva. Daniel Silva is so good. And he's married. You know Jamie Gangel, who's at CNN? She used to be at NBC. You know her. If you saw her, you know her.
If I saw her face, I'm sure that I would know. Yeah.
Jamie Gangel is this great reporter, the loveliest woman. She's so nice. Her husband is Daniel Silva. And Daniel Silva is this author. And Daniel Silva started writing this book back, and I want to say like the first book came out in 1999. And it was supposed to be a one-off about this Israeli spy named Gabriel Allon. And it was going to be a one-off. And the first book was written as a one-off. And then I guess it took off so much that he's now been pumping one a year out. Every July comes out the series. And it's so good and it's so diverting and it will take you away from your misery that we're all living in right now. But it's also very timely. Like he writes about stuff all as it happens. So like he kind of weaves in current events. And you guys, seriously, like if you want a good series, and there's so many of them now, there's probably 25 books or so out now. So you can just forget about your troubles and read them. I actually now, when I'm driving by myself, it's been so long since I've read the first ones that I actually listen to it on Audible, and it's so diverted and it's so great. So I will tell you, Miss Banks, I also am enthralled to Jane Austen. I invoke her every chance I have.
I did my senior thesis in AP English on Pride and Prejudice.
You did?
I did. Yeah, yeah. I used to read a lot when I was younger, but like fiction, I mean.
Fiction, I have to read fiction or else I can't sleep.
Like Huck Finn, I think I read like 3 times. I think I told you that. Yeah, I used to read John Grisham novels when I was like in junior high and things like that. But again, that's a little anxiety too.
Cynthia Rice, Janina Ramirez, she writes about women in the Middle Ages. I love that. So if I were living my best life, I don't know, Michelle, if you weren't doing this, what would you be doing? Do you have like a
Oh, I know what I mean. Yes, I would be. You know what my white whale was forever?
What?
It was to work for Stephen Colbert.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Have you met Stephen Colbert?
Several times.
Greatest guy.
The nicest person.
The nicest person.
The nicest.
You know, he still teaches Sunday school.
I know. And you know, Alex, who has made videos for us at Seneca Project, he actually just got a new job at NBC. I'm so happy for him. Worked at the Colbert, not at the Colbert Report. He worked at the Late Show with him, and produced a lot of like online content and stuff, and said that Stephen Colbert like still texts him like on his birthday or like give him a call and be like, that is so nice.
Greatest guy, such a good guy. So I could do anything in the, like, let's say no family, no commitment, no anything. Let's say I won the lottery tomorrow and didn't have to worry about money, and my family agreed to do this with me, which of course they never would. I would move to England and I would find the best professor of medieval British history that I could find. And I would literally get my PhD in Plantagenet history. Like, I am obsessed. I know, like, I pretty much already could write my PhD thesis on this because that's all I read about. I'm a total dork when it comes to that stuff. It's ridiculous because that's my little secret, like, it's not really secret, my little obsession. And it's completely unrelated to anything else I've ever done in my life. And I love it. It's my passion. And the way you want to work for Stephen Colbert is the way I want to move to like England, find whoever at whatever British university is the expert in this, and just apprentice myself to that person.
Yeah. Like I would run around Stephen Colbert all day long and just be like, here's your coffee. Tell me things. I want to know things. And the other thing I would also, I mean, I've always dreamt of like making movies and stuff like that when I grew up. That's why I like loved movies, and I would buy movies. If I had $20, I'd go to the mall and buy another movie, and would have stacks and stacks and stacks of movies. I still do, you know, and that's always just been my happy place is the movies. And so, you know, I always thought, I was like, oh, I could like work for A24 and like development, and like, you know, like it'd be so great. But, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Whoever said Julie knows about John of Salisbury, please. Girl, please.
Did you read Shakespeare?
I did read Shakespeare in high school. I'm not a Shakespeare person. Like, just not.
I mean, obviously,
I find him difficult, honestly, to read.
Well, here's a tip. So, you know, I went to acting school, and we were a drama and musical theater program. So we had people that were there for just acting, and then people who were there for acting and musical theater. So we had really wonderful acting teachers from Shakespeare and Company. And, you know, that were English and some were American, and, you know, they'd spend their summers in the Berkshires and, you know,
of course.
Yeah. And there was, and they were members of Shakes and Co. And, you know, there was a study abroad program and at the Globe and everything. Anyways, so we all had to learn Shakespeare in college through the folio. So Shakespeare's folio is the actual way in which the Shakespeare players wrote down how it is to be read. And it's all different from when you read it in a textbook or something. Like the lines are different. And it's written in such a way, if you're performing it, to take breaths after each line. And it's really interesting, first of all, to internalize the text. And then to also read it in that way makes a million times more sense.
Really? You
Mhm.
have to, you know what? My son has to read Macbeth this year, which
Get him the folio version.
and it would be helpful if you came
Yeah.
over and told him how to do it because I
Mhm.
think that would be much
Mhm.
more
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, I mean, Shakespeare was never like, there's people that I went to school with who were like incredible. And I was just kind of there to, I was like, I have to do this. But
yeah.
it really made me appreciate it in a different way.
That's
Um,
great. It's
yeah,
wonderful. You know what? I never had that.
yeah,
I just was told to read it and we read it and I had to memorize like, soliloquies from Shakespeare and it was a nightmare.
yeah, yeah.
Demetrius Cephas, Wuthering Heights. Oh, Wuthering Heights. So good. So good. But good only if you're like an 8th grade girl. Not so good.
Yeah, well, yeah, that
Yeah.
too. I
Um,
was thinking maybe, I have friends who still do Shakespeare and stuff. I was like, it would be really cool to talk to someone on one of these things too, just about Shakespeare and bridging the gap between academia and
yeah.
you know.
And somebody here said, by the way, BJG, Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford. Yes, girl or boy. Yes, I know. I read many of James Patterson's books. I love James Patterson. I have to say, does anybody here read the Alex Cross James Patterson series? It's getting a little ridiculous. Like they're running out of ideas. I love Alex Cross, but come on, getting a little out of ideas. But my guilty pleasure is the Witch PI books on Audible. I don't know those. Do you? I don't know those, Michelle. The
See,
Witch
this is what I'm talking about right here.
branch
You
of
you think I'm not thinking about it because this is always the end goal. This is always the end goal.
I don't even know what that goal is. Can you?
No, I don't know what it is either.
I know, but I'm talking about the
like,
feature film branch. What does that mean?
Division, like, I mean,
Oh, film division. Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
this is wishful thinking here.
You
But
know what? We would do like I would do the other Bowling Girl, but I would cast it totally differently because it was so miscast. It could not be more miscast, like completely miscast.
yeah,
You know who was a great Anne Boleyn, although it was the stupidest series? Did you ever watch The Tudors on Showtime?
I did not.
Okay,
It
so
looked
here's the
bad.
problem.
It looked bad to me.
Here's the issue. This is why you can't watch historical television with me. All of my friends will tell you, like literally, they hate it.
Shakespeare in Love, no, bad.
Oh no, terrible. You can't watch historical movies with me because I'm like, that didn't happen. Oh no, that didn't happen. Oh no, that didn't happen. And it's so annoying that when I go to the Tower of London with people, which I do all the time because I love it there, the Beefeaters give the tour. I'm like, I'm not sure that you're right about that. And so everybody hates me, and you should not go to movies with me if it's historic. But the Tudors was particularly painful because it was so historically inaccurate, starting with horrible miscasting. However, the woman who played Anne Boleyn in the Tudors, who also then ended up playing, and I'm totally blanking on her name, on Game of Thrones. If anybody in the chat can put it in.
I don't know.
She was perfectly cast. Like that was the perfect Anne Boleyn. She was so good. So good. A Lion in Winter, one of my favorite movies. A Lion in Winter was good. Also historically inaccurate, however. Not exactly how
it's really fun to watch these things with.
You do not want to watch those movies with me. You do not want to watch those movies with me. Especially because The Lion in Winter is like in my wheelhouse. Plantagenets, that's my jam. It was good. But then like that's why I watch this stuff. I'm like, but that didn't happen. And then I start dwelling on it instead of watching.
Yeah, then you're like, I'm not even gonna
pay attention. So not good.
I've been really into the American historical stuff lately. Well, there's a new thing on Netflix. I just started it, so I don't know too much about it. It's with what's his face from Succession and Pride and Prejudice. What's his name?
Oh, yes. I know who you're talking about. Yes.
And Michael Sheen.
Yes, I heard it's really good. Michael Sheen, who was so good in
about the assassination of President Garfield.
Oh, no. What's it called?
Hold on. Netflix.
But I know who you're talking about. God, what is the name of the guy from Succession who's British, but who was played an American so well, and he was in Pride and Prejudice? Why am I blanking on his name?
Oh, Michael Shannon is
not Brian Cox. It's not Brian Cox.
No.
It's the guy who was married to Shiv. The guy who at the end of Succession got
Matthew McFadyen and Michael Shannon. Okay, it's called Death by Lightning. And it's a new limited series on Netflix. And in the series, President Garfield is played by Michael Shannon, with Matthew McFadyen taking the role of the assassin Guteau. And it's all about this guy Gateau, a vagabond who finds a way to blame Garfield for all of his personal problems. He becomes obsessed with him. All of his energy, all of his eggs go into the Garfield basket and becomes his world. When Garfield's elected president, Gateau really believes that he's responsible and he's the key to his success. And then, of course, feels very let down and betrayed. And then we all know what happened to him. But this was about. And then there was another sort of like, series like that about John Wilkes Booth that was on HBO. Did you see that? I mean, it's
Oh,
amazing.
really?
That one, yeah.
And it's a
John,
documentary or it's a
no,
it's a
it was like a limited drama series,
oh.
and that one was called Manhunt, and it
Oh.
was about, it starts with the assassination of Abraham Lincoln at the end of the war, and what's his Linkletter? What's his last name? Plays Abraham Lincoln. I can't remember.
Michael? No.
I don't remember. I just know his last name is Linklater. Anyways, it starts with the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, and then it's all about catching him. It's all about what went on for the next several days before they caught him. It's crazy.
With John Wilkes Booth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, didn't they catch him in Maryland somewhere at somebody's
Yeah,
house?
and it's all about his
farmhouse, right?
Helped him, the people who turned him
Yeah.
in, the people that were, part of the conspiracy, and it's all very it's all very kind of reminiscent. You think about what's going on now in the country, and then you watch that. And in the days after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, you started to see all of the things fall apart. All of the hope for the future of the country start to fall apart. You start to see that, like, there is this pain point that was never going to heal ever. And it's all part of his capture. And it's really quite good.
Wow.
I thought it was great.
Yeah. You know what? I only know sort of surface level stuff about the capture of John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah. Well, also being a member of the Players Club, I was telling you, in Gramercy Park, founded by Edwin Booth.
His brother, right? Or his father?
John Wilkes Booth's brother. And there is a letter, actually, if you ever go or have somebody who's a member bring you to the library, there is a letter that was written by Edwin Booth about the assassination of Abraham Lincoln and how his brother was shame on his family. And
his brother was like the Laurence Olivier of his time.
Yeah, they were like famous actors.
Yeah.
And how it like destroyed their family, and it was just like this really horrible thing. And then it actually, his bedroom where he died is like upstairs, and it's like never been touched, and it smells really weird, like tobacco.
When Edwin Booth died?
Yeah.
And
it's upstairs. You have to be brought up there, but I used to bring people up. It was like part of like everybody get drunk at night and like there's a key and you just go up, and definitely haunted for sure. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Are you still a member? I'm gonna go see it.
I'm not, because it was too expensive. They had like an under 40 thing. If you were like a young person, it was like somewhat affordable. And I was like, I can't, this is so expensive. Yeah. And they had draconian sort of elitist door policies that I did not agree with. So the other thing, Julie, here, and I know, so we've talked about lots of fun stuff, and I was gonna talk about Elise Stefanik today. So maybe we can do that, maybe a whole thing on her.
Oh yes. Do you guys know that Elise Stefanik just announced that she's running for governor against Kathy Hochul? Like, girl. Read the room, Elise Stefanik. Like, people are not voting for Republicans this year. And by the way, if they wouldn't vote for Jack Ciattarelli, who had to like contort himself into MAGA and really wasn't, they're not going to vote for you, who is like a Donald Trump's handmaiden.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. I could do a dissertation on this woman. I know
she's such a fake phony.
She is JD Vance with a better upbringing. Okay.
Yes, that's a great way to describe it. She is JD Vance.
She is JD Vance with a better upbringing and a silver spoon in her mouth, because she's from the Albany area. Okay. First of all, here's her and one of the Young Republicans who wrote I Love Hitler, the New York Young Republicans. She was, all up with them and all the stuff. I love that. I love that Sarah Jessica Parker like commented on this.
She did? What did she say?
Well, Kathy Hochul posted the photo with the screenshots of the thing, right? And then Elise Stefanik saying like how great Peter Gunta is and like whatever. And then, but they took a screenshot of Kathy Hochul's Instagram, and this is all the comments. And Sarah Jessica Parker goes, "Yep, noted." I was like, I love it. It's so great. So there was some reaction, obviously, from New York Democrats. Josh Sherwin here is saying, really the perfect time for Trump worshiper Elise Stefanik to jump into the New York governor race, with Trump's job approval rating.
And if that's what it is nationally, just imagine what it is in.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So this guy, Addison Dick, he is the head of rapid response for New York Democrats. And they were all over her ass yesterday. Her website was like a mess.
I mean, this woman has been plotting to run for governor for how long? Like, what?
This is what I'm saying. So, you know, when you set up a website,
the Laura Mitchum, yeah,
that was all over her website. Okay. And then, because it's not just Latin, Elise Stefanik's botched website also features classic American values like family first trust, will alternative, legacy, plan, and legal. It's so close fourth time because they kept updating it. It's so funny. It's just very funny to me because she has endorsed Georgia. They're gonna, and they should. And I enjoy that they're already out on her because, listen, again, we can do a whole thing on this.
You know what? We're gonna do a whole separate dispatch on.
Yeah, my mom just texted me. She voted against the violence against women. Yes, that's in here.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm going to tell people. Okay, I am from her district. That is where I grew up. My family has lived in that area for generations. There's a man named John McHugh, who was the congressman there for many years. He went to high school with my dad. He's just, normal guy, right? And then Republican, but a normie, and went to go work as the Secretary of Army for Barack Obama. And when he did, that seat opened up. And Elise Stefanik went and used the address from her parents' vacation home and decided to run. And she had all the money because Karl Rove and Paul Ryan got in a little plane and like marched their little asses up to the North Country and campaigned for her and said that she's the future of and she was the youngest.
It was the Bush.
Yeah, she had
was a Bush person.
Yes, she was a Bush person. She had she was part of the whole compassionate conservative, right? She was the young Republican, like under there was like the Young Guns, right, which is like Eric Cantor and Paul Ryan and stuff. Okay, and so she was kind of the protege of that, and she was actually Paul Ryan's debate prep person, and she was doing all of that. Like, listen, she's an operator. She's a very good fundraiser. She's an operator, but she is a terrible politician. She has won basically because she is a Republican, because she has since the Trump years been performing Trumpiness. But make no mistake, she is a soulless political windsock. She will go wherever the wind blows. She has no values. She is a terrible person. She grew up in the Albany capital region. She went to, I forget the name of the school.
I know exactly where she went. Miss, Kirsten Gillibrand went there too. My friend's daughter went there too.
And her best friend was Melissa.
Melissa DeRosa.
Yeah, Melissa DeRosa, who worked for Cuomo. And so their friendship actually during COVID to the trash can because of Cuomo. So she started going after Cuomo, America's worst governor, she's just so over the top.
I just remember so well, I was still at Fox and Dana Perino was on the 5 with her. Dana Perino, who was White House press secretary under Bush, was so excited. Oh my God, Elise Stefanik won. And this is like the Bush people. They were celebrating. She's this moderate, normal Dana Perino, back when she was a normal, moderate Republican type of person.
Listen to anybody from that world talk about her, be like, what happened to her?
What happened to her? And we know what happened to her. Ambition happened to her. The same thing that happened to all of them. It's not like Karl Rove's not spitting the same bullshit now. It's not like Paul Ryan, who's now on the board of Fox News and could actually do something about that place, has done anything.
He's another one.
He's another one. So, all of them could go suck it. But the point about her, and we can do a whole separate thing. I don't want to belabor it here because I think it deserves a whole separate thing.
Well, yeah.
She's just soulless. And her part of her resume for a
Horrible.
very long time was that she went to Harvard. It was like, you know how
Mhm.
people, it's so funny. My husband and I have this joke, and people here might appreciate it. If you go to Harvard,
Mhm.
you work in that you went to Harvard in the first 5 seconds of introducing
A
yourself.
noun, a verb, and Harvard.
A noun, a verb, and Harvard. It's like, "Hi, I'm Julie, and by the way, I was up,
I went to Harvard.
no, it wasn't I went to Harvard. It's like, I went to college up in, up in Cambridge."
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Up in
yeah.
Cambridge.
People
Cambridge.
people who go to Yale or Princeton or any other Ivy League school don't do this. But if you go to Harvard, it's like, "Oh, yeah, so, back like, hey, Michelle, it's good to meet you. You know who you remind me of? This one girl who, oh God, when I was at that my
When I
girl
was at school in Cambridge,
I was up in Cambridge, yeah, you really remind me of that girl
they're
that I
so
was
coy about it. I'm like,
I
just
mean,
shut
literally, it's like what they teach at Harvard, first and foremost, is how to remind people that you went to Harvard in 27 different ways. But anyway, he made this whole thing about going to Harvard. And then she became the most anti-Harvard person ever.
Yeah, she got kicked off of some like democracy thing after January 6th because she was one of the people who was like, January 6th was fine. And then she's the one who went after Liz Cheney's role as like the party leader person in the House. But there's a few other things I just want to leave people with before we go, because I do think that these things are important. There was a shift also when she hired this young advisor consultant. His name is Alex DeGrasse.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm saying it right. DeGrasse. He has worked for her now for several years. I don't know how many, but it's been many years. He is horrendous. He is like, go to his Twitter feed, okay? This guy, he is like trolling. He's over the top. He calls everybody a communist. I mean, when I was at LP, he went after the guys at LP, calling them pedophiles and all kinds of that stuff. And I do know for a fact he got a letter and he stopped. But he is awful. He is a certain brand of meanness, and I don't even know what to say. He's awful. And he has really kind of connected her in a lot of ways to like this more far right kind of crazy world. I'm looking at this thing from North Country Public Radio, and we'll show this. It's she would pack her town halls, one of which was like had some, kind of North Country deplorable people that were somebody had pointed a fake gun at a journalist, like, some really crazy stuff. And another thing that people need to understand about her and her district, she represented Fort Drum, right? Which at one point was one of the most deployed army bases in the country. And then she was like, oh, the military, she's voted on several bills that hurt the veterans in her district. And for the same reasons that New York 21 is in play, even if she was to lose and go back and try to run for re-election, Canadian tourism, there's businesses collapsing all around that area. People are suffering. You have federal workers out of Fort Drum. You have military families who cannot feed their families. You have farmers and agriculture who are destitute, not only because of like the farming issue that's going on and USAID, but also immigration. Like they're losing people working on their farms. There's like a million different ways in which her district is hurting badly. But she has also voted against the Violence Against Women's Act. Her husband is huge in the gun lobby, but she has never been forced to spend any sort of time with her constituents in any real way. She is very insulated. You can go to my Twitter and I wrote about this, and I might write more about it. There's a reason why she has been made incredibly insulated by her team. She has not had a town hall in 6 years. 6. And she would fill the town halls even prior to that with people who were, pre-screened. She's never put in a situation where she will have to think on her feet. She will have to answer to anyone in any real way.
Well,
if you watch debates with her, she's never they're, oh, what's your favorite thing to do? And she has this very like canned answer. No one knows who she is. She doesn't know who she is. And she has not spent, I have articles from people in Lake George, which is part of her district, and have been like, I'm very confused why she's running for governor. I've lived here for 37 years. I've never seen her.
Well, because she's not up there. She's down in DC.
No, she's not from it. She lives in Virginia.
Yeah. And And good luck, Elise Stefanik, when you finally discover that New York City is part of the
Which
state that you want to be governor, because you can't get away with that shit in New
can you
York.
imagine her walking into
A bodega.
I,
By the way,
I
can I just
literally said that to Joe last night. I was like, can you imagine her walking into a bodega in Queens? Does she know that brown people live here? Like, I mean, just like that's what I'm,
I mean, what she's gonna try to do is she's gonna try to do her normal. She's gonna show up in New York City. She's gonna talk about how the subways are unsafe, how crime is
crime.
and
Yeah.
look, I think Mondani's numbers are gonna not be
Yeah.
great by the
No,
time
she's going to run against that for
she's
sure.
gonna run against Mondani, rightly so, because I think Mondani, I hate to say this, guys, but he's not gonna be able to deliver all the stuff that he promised. It's gonna be a disaster. So okay, maybe, but I think.
Well, and Hochul spoke to that. I just want to play this from Erin Burnett. She spoke to this. It was actually quite good. Oops.
His position was, my position was, I don't want to talk about it till his election's over. I just saw him again today. He said, let's sit down and work on this together. So I'm not worried about that. But it is so rich that Elise Stefanik, who you defined as an ally of Donald Trump, not only is she an ally, she proudly says she's Donald Trump's favorite congressperson, voting with him 100% of the time. That means she owns this shutdown. She owns the fact that 3 million New Yorkers are desperately trying to figure out how they're going to feed their families because they're so cold and callous that they took away the SNAP benefits. She's the reason why we're having New Yorkers without health care. I'm telling you, yes, I endorsed him because I want to have a relationship with, I believe, who I thought would be the next mayor of New York, because I'm not going to root against New York City, unlike Elise Stefanik. I'm going to make sure that New York City is successful. That does not change who I am. I have strong differences. I will never stop being a moderate Democrat, but she will never stop being a Trump Republican.
I mean,
that's a good answer. You know what?
Yeah.
I hereby offer to come out of semi-retirement and to prep Kathy Hochul for her debates.
Can I come?
Because I have done that for countless people, running for governor and running for Senate. And I was trained by the woman who saved Barack Obama's bacon when he bombed his first debate. And she came in and she put him
one Romney? Or
I'm
no?
sorry?
Which one?
When he was running against Romney, yes.
Yeah. That was bad. Yeah,
that was bad. And they flew her out to, I think it was Arizona, and she holed up with him for a week and she whipped him into shape. She's brilliant. And that is who I have typically done debate prep alongside. So I am hereby offering to beat the shit out of Kathy Hochul as
beat the shit out of Elise Stefanik, you mean?
In the way that ways that Elise Stefanik can only dream to get her ready for this debate, because I cannot wait for that. Hopefully.
Oh, it's going to be, again, she has never, now I don't mean this to be, my lovely friend Tedra Cobb ran against Elise Stefanik 2 times. Okay. But, obviously people counted her out. It was hard to raise all the money. And I was like, so I say that to say, and I was saying this to Joe last night, she is going to be facing a level of attacks that she has never, ever faced. She is going to be facing a level of personal scrutiny that she has never had to deal with. She's going to have to actually talk to people one-on-one, and she's a little robot and she's not going to know how to do it. And people don't like her. She's an asshole. Here's Hakeem Jeffries talking about it yesterday.
Your New York GOP colleague, Elise Stefanik, just announced this morning she's running for governor of New York, promising to make the state affordable and safe. Of course, that affordability argument worked for Democrats this week, including for Zoran Mamdani, a Democratic socialist who just became the next New York City mayor. And he has been a political punching bag for the right and divisive among your own party. Do you think Stefanik's going to make this race a referendum on Mamdani, and could it work?
Elise Stefanik is nothing more than a handmaiden for Donald Trump's extreme policies.
So
She's a sycophant who has been a repeated rubber stamp for Donald Trump's extreme agenda that is doing nothing but hurting the people of New York and everyday Americans across the country. If Elise Stefanik really wants to do something about the high cost of living, she should tell her boss, Donald Trump, to end these reckless tariffs, which are increasing costs by thousands of dollars per year on New York families and on families across America.
House Minority.
I mean,
All right.
and
Fair.
yeah. And the last thing I want to show you, this was in Plattsburgh over the summer. Plattsburgh is like all the way up near the Canadian border. She was going to an event that was, they were memorializing some local official or something who passed away. And this is what happened when she walked up to the podium.
To you, our Congresswoman from New York 21, Elise Stefanik.
Thank you, Mark, for that kind introduction. It is truly humbling to be here to commemorate and honor the great John Zerlo. You know, I'm going to turn this back to you, Mark. This crowd is not being respectful. John Zerlo is deeply respected. I'm going to turn it back to you. Yeah.
I mean, she literally got chased off the stage.
Oh, and if you see, there's other footage of this moment
When was this, Michelle? This summer?
over the summer. There's other footage of that moment from that's like higher def, and
Right.
you can see it start to like. And this is the thing about her is she has a temper. She did, but she like you can see she's easily rattled, easily. And
I
this
mean,
is-
if you're in a situation like that, you know, putting on my consultant hat, if you're in a situation like that, you make a joke. You make a joke like,
Yeah.
hey guys, I know we may not agree on everything, but I'm here to deliver whatever bacon she's there.
you'd have to be a human being in order to make a
Yeah.
joke. But yes, keep going.
I mean, like, you don't run away because you just gave the people who are booing you everything they want.
Oh yeah. It's going to be great. And it's going to happen to her all over the state. And I don't know if you saw the head of Suffolk County Republicans is going to run against her. She thinks she's running unopposed. She is not.
Suffolk County, by the way, is Eastern Long Island.
Right.
That's like the Hamptons. That's a Republican area,
Uh-huh.
but it's not a crazy Republican. Oh,
And
well,
he came out yesterday and said she was a weak candidate. I don't even know why she's running, and saying that he's gonna announce that he's gonna run. And he's like an old white guy.
because Mike, oh my God, what is wrong with me?
I don't
What
know.
I'm talking about Mike.
Like who?
Oh God, Congressman who's going to run for?
Oh, Mike Lawler?
Mike Lawler. I'm
He's
sorry.
not running. Yeah, because Trump was like, listen.
No, I know he's not running, but
Yeah.
I'm saying to you, Mike Lawler would have made this a contest. I mean, maybe not because of Trump, but Mike Lawler is a talented candidate.
This is her consolation prize because she is not, first of all, she's not two things. She wasn't the VP pick because she thought she was going to get that.
Mhm.
And then she was nominated to be UN ambassador. She had like packed her bags. She was about to go through, she was the last one to be confirmed because they needed the votes in the House. And then he pulled the nomination when Signalgate happened and whatever his name is. And he's like, sorry, I got to give him this job. You can't have this. And so she walks of shame. She shames it back to the North Country where she doesn't want to be, she hates that job. And so now she's like, I'm going to be governor of New York now because she can't stand it. And this is her consolation prize. Being governor of New York, in her mind, she is entitled to as a consolation prize. And she thinks that Donald Trump is going to deliver it for her because she has been loyal and she has given up her spine in order to do so. because-
Donald Trump cannot deliver. He couldn't
No.
deliver the Mississippi supermajority this year. He couldn't deliver 3 statewide seats in Georgia this year that have never gone Democratic for 22 years. He could not deliver New Jersey for Jack Ciattarelli, which demographically is not much different from New York. He could not deliver Virginia, which, you know, I like, and that's Virginia is a light blue state.
Mhm.
Is not going to deliver.
Oh God, no.
New York has not had a Republican governor since George
Pataki. I know. I was in high school.
Yeah.
It's a long
And let me
time
tell you
ago.
something. And let me tell you something. New Jersey has had a Republican governor in recent years. 8 years ago, it was Chris Christie. The point is, and it was time. It was time for New Jersey to go Republican in the sense that, like,
Right.
the just historically, the shift always happens this way.
Mm-hmm.
Not this year and not next year. It's
No.
not going to get better
No, this is going to be, and this is where I say, if she was to lose,
if we have free elections next year.
well, then there's that.
Yeah.
But if, let's say, even Elise Stefanik was to lose the primary to the New York governor, okay, let's say the Suffolk County guy does well just because she's so awful, she again will have experienced statewide attacks on the airwaves, digitally, everywhere for like 8 months. And then she's got to go do a general election against a farmer. There's a guy from Lisbon, New York, who I forget his name right now. I feel so bad because I interviewed the guy. He's a farmer, former Peace Corps guy, really smart, lovely, young, good looking, nice family. His wife, I think, is an immigrant as well. And he's a farmer and he's going to run.
But could she be on the ballot twice next year?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
She can. So she can run in the primary for both Congress.
That's what I read. I mean, that's what because I did look it up because I was like, is she going to give up her seat? And I was like, no.
Interesting.
Yeah. And again, like she has tied herself to Donald Trump in such a way that she cannot undo it. This is her, I think this was like last year.
Which is President Trump at the top of the ticket.
How do you grapple with standing by his side while the jury is debating how much to award E. Jean Carroll for being sexually abused by Donald Trump?
These are witch hunts against President Trump, whether it's the bogus case from Tish James, who is a radical prosecutor. They are all witch hunts against President Trump. No, of course not. They're all
jury found that Donald Trump sexually abused her.
Witch hunts against President Trump, and the reason why is because he is pulling ahead of Joe Biden, and Joe Biden is the weakest candidate we've ever seen. No, I disagree. No, I don't believe that, and I support President Trump. And you know what? The media is so biased. This is just another example of the media being out of touch.
E. Jean Carroll? It's not me. It's not the media. It's a jury that found that he sexually abused E. Jean Carroll.
Again, the media is so out of touch with the American people. Like 2016, you are going to see the American people speak out loudly and clearly with their vote. We are so tired of the biased media shilling for Joe Biden every single day. And the reality is President Trump is going to win. He's going to restore rule of law, and he's going to restore respect for the Constitution in this country.
Seen as more moderate.
You know what? I have to say, you want to defend Donald Trump on the tax allegation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I guess fine. You want to defend him on all the stuff that he was never actually prosecuted for because we had a shitty judge in Florida who decided she wanted to be in the Supreme Court and didn't care about the rule of law.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. But to say that E. Jean Carroll lied after a jury found Donald Trump liable for sexual assault is so gross, and especially as a woman.
Yeah, she doesn't give a shit.
She doesn't give a shit.
No.
Like, there are women who are being sexually assaulted every single day, and they have to listen to shit like that.
And the Violence Against Women's Act, she said, nope, because of a gun provision, because she felt that
Abusers need to have guns.
Domestic abusers should have access to guns, and there should be nothing that stands in the way between them and their guns, even if it means beating the shit out of their wives.
Or killing their wives.
Which often happens. People walk right through their restraining orders and do it anyways. And Elise Stefanik doesn't give a shit. She doesn't care. Because again, I bring this back to, I'll say this is the last thing we can talk about this because we'll do more on this. I literally have a 60-page PDF sitting in front.
I'm telling you, Michelle is like Harry Homeland with Elise Stefanik and Red.
I'm invested. I'm very invested. So, again, my family has lived in that area. I'm not like generations as firefighters, as police officers, as teachers, farmers, business people, photographers, a very long time. But
As Hakeem Jeffries would so stupidly call you, you're everyday people.
I am an everyday person.
I hate that.
but,
It's such a focus group. That is such a focus group
Oh,
slogan.
yeah. I'm like, stop. Just talk like an
Just call them regular people. That's all. Like, come on.
talk like a normal person, and like it
Yeah.
won't kill you. But I say this because these people that from my family have served their communities for generations, and it has been serving their communities. And for Elise Stefanik, representing, whether it's New York 21, whether it's the United Nations, or if it's the state of New York, it is not about service for Elise Stefanik. Running for office statewide to represent the great state of New York is a box that she has to check on her way to be president of the United States. That is all this is about. She does not care about you. She doesn't care about where you live, your problems, whether it's feeding your family or it's being able to pay your rent or put a roof over your head. Elise Stefanik doesn't give a shit. She is the only person that she cares about. And like I said before, she is the female JD Vance with a better upbringing. And that is that.
We're going to do a whole dispatch on this.
I will not stop talking about this.
Yeah, we're going to do a whole dispatch on this. We might devote 2026 to just Elise Stefanik.
I mean, why not? I mean, that's the thing. And it's like, if you know any PACs who want to run some ads, I'd be happy to make them.
Yeah. And I'm serious. I am happy to prep this governor for her debates against Elise Stefanik because I think she needs the help. And I
will do anything Kathy Hochul wants. Seriously, let me get on the first Amtrak to Albany. I'll be there.
Yeah. I've taken that Amtrak. It's not so bad.
No, that's the Amtrak I take home. It takes a long time, but
for you, because it's how much further are you?
Let's see. Penn Station to Syracuse is usually like 5.5 hours, 6 hours. It's a long time.
And how far are you from Syracuse? You're not right at Syracuse, right?
An hour drive from Syracuse. Yeah.
It's a long drive.
It's a long journey. That's why
my best friend went to Cornell when I went to college in Boston, and I would take that Peter Pan bus from Boston west.
Oh yeah,
past Mass Pike, the New York Thruway to Albany. They'd have to switch at Albany and get on the bus to Syracuse, and it would take forever. So to me, anything to do with Syracuse takes forever.
Yeah, well, that's why we Joe and I drive now, and it's usually like 4.5, 5 hours, which is much better, right? Because for us, we either drive to Scranton and go up, or we take the Thruway, and it's actually a very lovely drive, except for obviously when it's snowing. But I have friends who are from Rochester, Buffalo, who take that Amtrak, and
I drove to Toronto through Buffalo, and that is just
it's rough. It's a long ass drive.
Yeah. All right, Michelle.
Yeah.
What else for the good of the order?
I mean, that's kind of like what I got this clip of, why do I have this here? Oh, you know what? Let me play this. Pete Hegseth said yesterday, I don't know, did you see this?
Oh, I saw something. I don't know if it's the same thing you have, but yeah, go ahead.
So I posted it on our social. So this is.
Oh, it is. I think I reposted it. Yeah.
This is the version I posted on social. So I bookended it with a clip from one of my favorite films. But just take this with you into the weekend. Here we go. Go ahead.
Punish.
Hold on, let me.
To punish. We're here to liberate. I'm not here to reform, but to transform and empower. We mean to save the bureaucracy from itself. Because the chairman and I talk about this all the time. This is a 1939 moment.
And that's how I feel about that.
How hot was Captain Von Trapp when he did that?
Listen.
Did I ever tell you my theory about the Baroness, who I'm the biggest fan of the Baroness?
No.
In the Sound of Music, in the Sound of Music?
No.
I'm team Baroness in the Sound of Music. She was right. Those kids could have benefited from some boarding school. They're running around with some nun singing in like dresses made out of curtains.
The movie leaves out a very important scene about them talking about how much they're like into the Nazis. I think if you saw that deleted scene, or if you saw the play, you would feel differently.
Oh, really? The Baroness was into the Nazis?
Yeah. They supported the Nazi party. Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, there wasn't really a real Baroness.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you know.
Yeah.
In the play.
I didn't know the Baroness.
In the musical. Yeah, they don't include that in the film.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Also, find me a better dressed woman in
Oh.
all of cinema than the Baroness in The Sound of Music.
Yes, I mean like
Yeah.
chic and snatched for sure. Chic and
Did you ever see that thing about The Sound of Music? About the Baroness. And it's not in The Onion. What's the other one that's really funny?
I don't know.
Oh, I have to send it to you. It's
Like
priceless.
Drunk
All right.
History? I don't know.
No, I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah,
It's McSweeney's.
Oh, McSweeney's. I like McSweeney's. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to drop this in the chat. I want everybody to read it because it is truly the funniest thing I've ever read in my life about The Sound of Music. Hold on.
Well, just for anybody watching, we posted a clip of Julie telling a story about Jack Ciattarelli and Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, the reason that he refused to, say at some or whatever it was thing
Teletown
hall that, I endorsed, Jack Ciattarelli and I'm going to fund the Gateway Project if he does this, whatever. And he didn't because Jack Ciattarelli, when asked if he would give Donald Trump a grade, he said A, and Donald Trump was mad that it wasn't A+. So we posted this clip. And on Instagram specifically, it has gone viral. It has like 150,000 views now for our little account on Instagram that we just started that has now, I think, 400 followers on it.
No, it's crazy.
It's nuts. We went from having like 5 to 400 in a couple days. But we want to tell more stories like this because, we
got some good dirt.
Yeah. And so I play that Pete Hegseth thing. Now I know that you're very limited in what you can talk about.
Oh, I can talk about Pete Hegseth all I want. He's not covered by my NDA.
Oh, well, there we go. Well,
we'll do a whole separate thing on Pete Hegseth. My computer is about to die. I don't know how. My battery is just completely.
Oh, no.
I need a new computer. It was totally at 100%. Now it's at 10 for the last hour and a half of doing the show.
Yeah.
I probably need a new computer. So we'll save that Pete Hegseth. I have Pete Hegseth stories, you guys. I have hung out with Pete Hegseth, like socially, not in that way, to be clear.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've
He's like a work friend, right?
Yeah, he was like a work acquaintance. I wouldn't say friend.
Yeah.
I've got pictures of me at bars with Pete Hegseth. There's about four bottles of beer are right in front of Pete Hegseth, not in front of me. Like Pete Hegseth and I have had some times. So I'm very happy to talk about Pete Hegseth. I will tell you this, he's fucking crazy. If you knew him the way that I once knew him, you'd understand what an emergency it is that this man is the Secretary of Defense.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. It's not the alcoholism. It's not the alleged sexual assault. It's not the
which aside it is
right. It's not the mismanagement of all the different organizations that he's run. It's him, you guys. It's him.
Yeah.
He's not well.
You can see it. Like when he's giving these speeches where he's all like pumped up, he seems almost manic. Like a manic. There's something about him that's just like out of control.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he also seems like someone who should have been in a musical. And I think that theater could have healed him. I really do believe this. Like, don't you, every time he gives one of those speeches, you're like, he should have been in Carousel.
He should have been in Carousel.
It could have healed him. I'm just saying.
My husband's running the vacuum. So my husband's
Thanks, Mary.
Yeah. My husband's running the vacuum. The dog is barking at the vacuum. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that I'm doing the show.
No one cares.
Nobody cares. I'm probably gonna have a musical theater production right in front of me right now.
It would be. Listen,
that would be great. Yeah, Jerry doesn't care.
It didn't happen. Well, guys, Julie, you go vacuum with.
I'm not vacuuming. I'm gonna go. I'm not vacuuming.
You go.
Substack newsletter to write.
Well, you'll do that, and then I'm gonna go put up my Christmas tree today. I don't want to hear it from people. I don't want to hear it from people. I don't want to hear any Christmas songs after Thanksgiving. Good for you. I want
to believe that you should not hear any Christmas songs till after Thanksgiving, but you go ahead and do your.
I'm going to do what makes me happy, and then I'm going to go get my COVID shot tonight, and then we're going to see how that goes. And so
I got mine a few weeks ago. It's fine.
You felt okay? All right. Some people are having a very bad experience.
I got mine, and that was fine. No worries.
Okay.
I got that. I got my flu shot. I got them both at the same time,
and you were fine. Okay. Promising. Okay.
All right. Michelle, and all right, everybody in the chat. Thank you for all the good book recommendations.
Yeah, Kay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. I'm not with you, Kay. I'm sorry. Not yet. One holiday at a time.
I already watched Home Alone. I watched it the other day. I'm just
We have
saying.
a profound disagreement, Michelle. A profound disagreement. One holiday at a time. Gobble, gobble. Get ready for
All of
Thanksgiving.
them at once. All of them.
Very
at once.
excited.
Make the joy
Julie's
last.
husband left no crumbs. Julie's husband, I don't know what he's doing, but like again, like I'm doing a show here. It doesn't matter. Okay. All right, everybody. We will see you Monday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. We might be back for Dispatch.
Depending on what state you live in, Jane.
Yeah.
New York's fine. Yeah.
And we might see you back for Dispatch here. We might do a little Lee Stefanik Dispatch before then, depending on scheduling.
Yeah.
But if not, if you don't see us the rest of this weekend, we will see you at 8 a.m. Eastern.
Yep. Follow us on social, please. We are at the Mayday Network. We are at Mayday Network on Twitter. And follow us on like and subscribe this video. If you want to like this video, that would be amazing. And make sure to subscribe because it does help us and it helps us more people see what we're doing. So
yeah. All right. Awesome, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.